This is a story created based on learn and obtain knowledge about deficit discourse, inclusion and exclusion, diversity within the classroom, and normalisation. This is Miss T, and she's in her first year of teaching at the local primary school. The primary school suffers from deficit discourse and a stigmatization on normalisation. This being Miss T's first year of teaching, she has taken on the school's beliefs and values that the school holds. This has dramatically impacted on Miss T's teaching, and it has changed the way she teaches and educates her students. Miss T has held negative and stereotypic views on what is expected in a normal school, meaning that the students who don't fall under what the school perceives as normal are disadvantaged in many ways. Students' expectations are lowered and are not exposed to education opportunities like their fellow classmates. This is seen through two of Miss T's reception students, first one being Layla, with the second student being Anna, who both carry very different school bags. Layla is from a high socio-economic area. She has a father who is a lawyer and a mother who is a primary school teacher. Layla is very good academically and extremely good at tennis. Layla was raised in Australia in a local community area. Layla knows the alphabet, some jolly phonic sounds, and can count easily to 100. Layla can also write her name and can write all the letters from the alphabet, forming basic, high-frequency words. On the other hand, Anna is from a low socio-economic area. She lives with her grandparents and has moved around constantly in her life. She's never had a stable family environment. Anna has never played a sport and has had very little exposure to any singing or academic help prior to starting school. Anna also cannot recognise her own name. However, she does speak the Indigenous language and has had exposure to many Dreamtime stories from her grandparents. Looking at these students, it is clear that with the assumption from Anna's history, she would be a part of the deficit discourse. Miss T now finds herself at the end of Term 1. Miss T has come to the realisation that she is not considered Anna's virtual school bag or her needs within the classroom. Miss T realises that Anna's needs are too great for her time that's provided within the classroom, which has led to low expectations. From a result of these expectations, Anna is below the satisfactory benchmark level of what is expected from the Australian curriculum. Anna's results are significantly low in comparison to Layla. Layla has become extremely successful within the classroom, has completed all her homework tasks, and has excelled in many areas of her learning. She has also built a strong group of friends. Without Miss T's support, Layla will excel in school and Anna will always be behind and struggling. This will have a dramatic effect to Anna's well-being and future within the education system. Now comes Term 2. Miss T has a new outlook on the deficit discourse that she had problems with in Term 1. Miss T has done some research and study over the holidays. Miss T has found ways she can improve Anna's learning and how to move Anna out of the deficit discourse. Although now Layla will have an advantage in many areas due to her differences in her school bag, Anna will still grow and make progressive steps in reaching new goals within many areas of her educational learning. Over the holidays, Miss T also did some research on turnaround pedagogies. By doing this, research allowed her to reconnect with students like Anna and others who are at risk of falling into the deficit discourse. Miss T has taken on the role of understanding and learning about the learner. Getting to know Anna and her family, along with their socio-economic background, will benefit her teaching and Anna's learning. By By doing this, Ms. T found that she can use Anna's rich background and cognitive resources that can be used within her learning. This will allow for Anna to make a connection from her home life to school, which will allow for Anna's learning to increase dramatically. Throughout the holidays and reflecting upon Term 1, Ms. T has learnt the term normalisation. She has learnt how this word can have an effect on her classroom demeanour and how it can affect children individually. She has also looked at the word differentiation. Ms. T has carefully looked at her Term 2 and the rest of the year overview and came to re-evaluating her pedagogical practices that she can implement within her classroom. This will be done through changing the colours of the classroom, the design of the classroom environment, and the behaviour strategies she will use within her educational setting. Ms. T has also looked at scaffolding for her teaching material. This will allow to assist students as they need, whilst also enable learning to manage themselves individually and develop deeper understanding of the task. Enabling scaffolding within her teaching allows students to represent their ideas, organise information, and grasp concepts on another level. Scaffolding guides students to be higher order thinking learners and also shapes their individual thinking. Ms. T has also realised that this will dramatically assist Anna with making progress on her learning. Ms. T also looked at an array of curriculum documents that will assist her in implementing pedagogical practices. This being the Reception to Year 10 curriculum framework, which highlights the importance of being inclusive to all students within the classroom. Ms. T realises that implementing turnaround pedagogies will allow for changes in attitude and engagement from not only particular students but the class as a whole. The turnaround pedagogy will allow for improving communication skills from the children, improve collaborative work, and reconnect students with one another, whilst also connecting their outer school knowledges and apply them within the classroom and their learning. Ms. T has also done some research about how she can create more awareness within the classroom about inclusion and exclusion. By doing this, Ms. T will create a more positive environment which will help students, like Anna, to feel more comfortable and safer within the classroom. It's truly important for students to understand the concept and have awareness on how including other students in the classroom is an extremely important factor within their school environment. It is also critical for Ms. T to look at her cultural and social influential factors within the classroom. Applying the social capital is a useful tool for understanding the differences among students' learning. By looking at the cultural capital, it's critical to understand how the accumulation of knowledge, behaviours and skills that one can demonstrate cultural competence is necessary in a learning space. The concept of cultural capital is extremely important for Ms. T to understand when applying this theory to her teaching. Understanding the cultural capital allows for Ms. T to understand the home experiences students will be engaging in and the different interactions that children will be exposed to that might influence their learning within the classroom. Ms. T will find that if she carefully looks at Anna's home life experiences and finds a way to connect these experiences within the classroom, this will allow progression to be made by Anna. By doing this, Ms. T will have created an inclusive classroom that values diversity and acknowledges the variety of experiences students bring to the classroom. Ms. T has also created an inclusive classroom through ensuring that the students are aware on how to include others and how to accept others' differences. By looking at the differences between Anna and Layla, Ms. T can now see how important it is to understand the children you are educating, understand their cultural background, and understand their beliefs and values. Being an educator is a highly important role in a student's education. Sometimes school is the safest part for a child's day, so it is highly important that the teachers ensure that their environment feels safe and inclusive to all.